It's cool, just lying here on the floor. Cold towels, my feet against the door. How long have I been in this space? Arms over eyes, help me retrace. How did I become the doormat here? Memories spinning around my head seem pretty cavalier. Little by little you take control. It's a little uncivil how your game's in motion. And I don't even notice that I'm playing your game. Do you leave me a warning thinking I'm the one to blame? From my heart has made it pretty clear. Little by little you take control. It's a little uncivil how your game's in motion. And I don't even notice that I'm playing your game. Do you leave me a warning thinking I'm the one to
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Saturday night coverage on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series. Man, has it been an incredible season so far these last couple of weeks. We started the season off at Daytona, where Brian Johnson found himself in victory lane, and Calamity for second place, and even further on backstruck. Last week, we got to see the incredible duel between Zach Hall and Vincent Sora that came down to contact out of the exit of the corner, coming to the line, where Vincent Sora found himself in victory lane. Those were tracks that were bigger than this one. Tonight, it's North Wilkesboro for the WSSR Throwback 200. We're throwing it back to a little bit of history. This track is being brought back to life currently in real time and will be the destination of NASCAR's All-Star race. But for tonight's event for the WSSR, it's the third race of the regular season, and it's time to see how any of those tempers are going to bloop up here tonight. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is going to be Trevor Earhart. Trevor, man, it has been an awesome season so far, but now it's our time to see what short track racing is going to bring for this crew.
I mean, it's been a great season to start off with. Texas last week with the incredible finish that we had, the contact being made. Zach Hall coming, up 200 yards short of getting that win. Vincent Sora getting the win. But Sam, short track racing tonight, elbows out, bumpers going to get used, feelings are going to get hurt, tempers are going to flare. I cannot wait to get this race going here tonight.
Tonight's race currently underway is practice, as you're going to see a couple of drivers rocking with some throwback schemes. Got to see a couple there right now on screens. The 81, that's going to be Steven Stimpian, who's going to be rocking the Looney Tunes Dale Earnhardt Jr. throwback scheme, as back when Jr. was running the 8. But you get to see the 81. I mean, Trevor, it's always fun when we come to throwback nights because you never know who's going to be bringing what to the table.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to see. It's always the drivers get really creative with creating their throwback schemes, throwing it back to a driver, but putting their own sponsors that they've had on their cars back on the throwback scheme. So it's always a fun night when we get to this point in the season.
You got some drivers that are picking drivers and schemes that have very much meaningful memories to them. One of those is going to be actually the 56 of Richard Wolsifer, who his backstory for his scheme, pretty cool. 56 machine is going to be actually running a scheme that's a replica look of his dad's old street stock that he used to run back in the day. But the sponsors that are sponsored all over this thing actually going to be from his dad's business of R&M Automotive. So it's always cool to see how different groups come together, how you've got some schemes that are going to be based off of old memories, some going to be based off your favorite drivers. We'll touch on more of them later on, as it's time for us to move from practice into qualifying. And if we look at how the practice leaderboards were going to give us a quick preview, it was that of Larry Yingling coming in here as the top of the board, running an 18.309 for his fastest time. Then it was that of Ryan Bird, Zach Hall, and Brandon Colley. But it's time to see what the field can put down, as they're going to have 2 laps to put down their fastest time and just 10 minutes to get it done.
Yeah, 2 laps to get those in. And Sam, what they're going to have to worry about here is getting those incident points during their qualifying lap really easy here at North Wilkesboro to get into the wall on the exit of turn 2. On the exit of turn 4, you try to let the car roll out, get the power down. So drivers are going to have to be wary of that as they try to get these qualifying laps in.
North Wilkesboro is such a unique track. It's a short track that's just a little bit over a half a mile in length, but what always makes this track so unique is the awkward banking, as well as what makes this track truly unique is the fact that it's right on the side of a hill. There's actually difference of elevations on how you're going to be entering both sides of this race course. As currently drivers putting in their time, it's going to be that of Jonathan Coxwell with his fastest time. Take that back. Tom Senchak topping the board after their first lap, as here comes Richard Wolsifer for his first go-around, as drivers hoping to stay off of that outside wall.
They try to stay off that outside wall, try to get the power down as much as you can on corner exits without getting the car loose. Vincent Sora was top of the board. Brandon Colley now top of the board. Tom Senchak on his second lap back to top of the board for the 8 machine, as Wolsifer comes out of turn number 4 really easy, drifts it all the way up to the wall, completing his first lap. We'll see where that puts him in. It's Wolsifer in 9th as he goes for his second lap. Aaron Kralik now second on the board.
Richard Wolsifer had his go, as that will be done for himself. He had actually just finished both those times. That was just his way of ending out qualifying with a little bit of a blast from the past. And here's another blast from the past. It's going to be that of running the Jeff Gordon throwback scheme from 2001 with the Flames. It's going to be the 42 of Zach Hall, having some his history of fun driving memories watching Jeff Gordon racing, as the 42 hoping for a good stint, as he is currently on his first lap, getting ready for his second one. We'll see if this first lap is going to be good enough to place him in the middle of the field. As he comes across the line, going to be seeing Zach Hall just mired that of 15th, but Trevor, still a lot of speed to be grabbed here.
Still a lot of speed to be grabbed for Zach. A really kind of wide entry and exit into turn number 1 and 2, trying to keep the speed up going down the backstretch really low there in 3 and 4. We'll see how far this bumps Zach up as across the line. Second for Zach Hall is Vincent Soares back on the pole with an 18.4. Zach with an 18.5. So Vincent Soares, last week's winner, looking good here, Sam, in qualifying.
Last week's winner, as well as last week's pole sitter, was that of the 15. He's hoping to go back-to-back on getting those poles for himself. A couple of drivers still waiting to put in their times. Going to be that of Tyler Dangler and Brad Delph that are going to be on track because they've got 1 minute and 56 seconds left. And the driver that was our fastest in practice, Larry Yingling, going to be coming up shy for that of the 67. He's going to have a tough start here tonight. 67, going to be in the middle of the field, 11th place currently, as we take a look at another throwback scheme. Also, what's fun about iRacing is you get to change up some of what you want these vehicles to look like, as it's the Dodge machine for that of going to be Tyler Dangler, and this 19, as he's going to be running that of the Jeremy Mayfield Dodge dealership Cup machine, was ran back in the day.
Yeah, this is the fun thing with iRacing and painting cars. You can change kind of the way certain manufacturers look. The Fords on the next gen cars, you can turn them into Dodges really easily, and it's always fun to see the drivers do that. I think there's a couple of examples as Dangler gets loose there off the exit of 4, spins it across the start finish line. But I think there's a couple of examples of a couple Dodges in the field here tonight, Sam.
There are a couple. I think one of my favorites might be the 23 of James Hackworth Jr. That looks pretty good out there on track. And as well, that of the 38 machine of Christopher Norris was going for his special schemes. But qualifying seems to be the field. It's real willing to just settle on where they're at this current time. And as we've got a moment, we got to give a big shout out to the head sponsor of the WSSR. That is Roasted Gems Coffee. Roasted Gems Coffee is a premium coffee brand that you can go get your quality coffee now today by going to that of roastedgems.com and use the promo code WSSR to get yourself 5% off today. And what's also awesome is the fact that Roasted Gems Coffee just came out with their caffeine maximize going to be flavor, which is going to be maximizing their caffeine, giving you the most energy today with Roasted Gems Coffee. As the drivers get themselves settled in, qualifying is officially done. Let's take a look at where the drivers are going to be starting out here tonight, as it's going to be seeing that on top of the board for 2 weeks in a row. Vincent Soares in the 15 machine, finding the speed, which, not surprised, he's the 2-time champ for the past 2 seasons, and he wants to go for his 3rd. And here tonight, he'll start in that pole award. To his outside, though, going to be that of Zach Hall. Aaron Krolick's going to be the 3rd. 4th, going to be that of Tom Senjek. That of Brandon Colley going to be in 5th, with that of Jonathan Cardwell in 6th. Ryan Bird, 7th. 8th's going to go to Cedric Hunter. James Kaufman in 9th, with Steven Stimpian going to be taking that 10th place position.
Larry Yingling will roll off in 11th, Kyle Rochelle on his outside 12th, Richard Wolsifer in 13th, with Christopher Norris 14th. Jeff Gilmore will be in 15th, with Thomas Walter in 16th. Brad Delph will roll off 17th, with Tyler Dangler on his outside in 18th. And rounding out our top 20 will be Sean McCafferty in 19th and Brandon Zimmerman in 20th.
21st, going to be the 5 Dakota Moniz. Bob Skinner in 22nd position. Rich Jameson in 23rd. That of Jamie Lee Dunning in 24th, with that of James Hackworth Jr. The 23 machine in 25th. 25 machines for tonight's race. That could be a quick race, could be a long one, based on the patience level that some of these drivers are going to be having for themselves. 200 laps, no fast repairs, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road. And Trevor, what's so great about this season? No stage breaks are going to be needed here tonight.
Yeah, no stage breaks and a guarantee of a caution that these drivers can bank on. But Sam, 200 laps, like you said, could go really quick or could be a very long race tonight, depending on how these drivers race each other. But I think we're going to be in for a good race based off of what we've seen the first 2 weeks at Daytona and Texas. And then we come to a much smaller track here at Wilkesboro. I think we're going to be in for one heck of a show tonight.
I think we are, as well as the drivers are still all getting gridded up. Another big thanks to an incredible sponsor. That's Trophy Smack. Trophy Smack has been the destination for that of the admins from WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series to go get their championship trophies. For that of Vincent Soares, he's been the only one to be good graced by the Trophy Smack trophies, which is that of a ring that the championship driver gets for themselves. There are also plenty of other great trophies that you can find yourself at Trophy Smack. They've got that of championship belts, trophies, trophies as well as rings, and one of their most prized things to get right now, which I know some of the drivers have actually grabbed for themselves, getting schemes of their cars with that of the wall smack. Wall smack is a great product to get, as it is going to be that of stainless steel, that of high gloss work of art, completely available for you with the incredible wall safe magnet mounting system that they have. Big thanks to that of Roasted Gems Coffee as well as Trophy Smack for being the main two sponsors here at WSSR. Trevor, though, we're about to get ourselves green flag racing. We got one to go here for the drivers. What are you expecting here in the first couple of laps?
I'm thinking we're going to see drivers be aggressive. I think track position is going to be important for these guys. So I think we're going to see guys that are on the top try to get to the bottom as quickly as they can and make up as much ground as you can while everybody's stacked up on top of one another. But I think we're going to come out of here, Sam, with some hurt feelings tonight and a bunch of beat-up race cars because we're going short track racing.
Well, good thing that we've learned so far is these vehicles can be built like tanks. So who's going to survive the carnage? Let's find out as we're green for the WSSR Throwback 200 in the center of 1 and 2. It's Vincent Sora with that as Zach Hall. Sora is going to take the advantage down into turn number 3 as they're already getting single filed up for top 4, but it's 5th on back, side by side as Vinny leads lap number 1.
It's back here for 5th. Jonathan Cogswell got around the outside of the 1 and Brandon Colley kind of slow there on the bottom, kind of stacking up that bottom line. Now Cedric Hunter in the 13 machine is going to look to the outside of that 1 machine, gets him cleared. Here comes the 81 of Stimpy and a little bit of a shot to Colley from the 49 of Ryan Bird, as that 1 looks to be struggling here early on.
Struggling maybe in the early going, but it's all about who is going to find that comfort zone, as these lines could be developing and changing as the tire wear kicks in. As well, who can find the quick speed. Currently, right now, it looks like for the leaders, it's get low and stay low for Vincent Sora as we're riding on board the 1 machine of Brandon Colley. As Brandon Colley racing here, currently in 7th place, not where he wanted to start, as our qualifying results was sponsored by his mom, as Colley's mom, always a great sponsor to have for that of last season's qualifying results and this qualifying results. You got the pole all the way back after the first race of the season, but he's got some work to get up front now.
He got a little bit of work to do, already down 2 spots from where he started, coming under pressure here from the 81 of Stimpian. Stimpion's going to fall in line further on back, though. They're side by side with the 21 of Kyle Rochelle, the 25 of Kaufman. As they go to battle in 3 and 4, it looks like Rochelle's going to get that position cleared as Kaufman almost got back at him coming out of 4, but it's going to have to fall in behind him.
And as well, going to be seen on screen, side-by-side action even deeper in the field, that of Jeff Gilmore, as well as that of the 0-4 of Thomas Walter. Walter racing last week, debut race. He's now going to be finding himself currently in 15th. We move up to drivers that aren't teammates, but the schemes look very close to them. It's going to be that of Larry Yingling in the 67 and the 56 of that of Richard Wolsifer.
Going at it, Yingling not qualified, I'm sure, where he wanted to, as he was the quickest car in practice. And last week, his debut race at Texas went really well for himself. As the 25 gets a little loose in front of him, everybody does a good job to get by, but 25 there of, I believe that was Kaufman, going down into the wall, and it's going to bring out our first caution.
Oh, they're going to be spinning around as well, as it's actually going to be the 17 of McCafferty who's going to be spun around. That is not where you want to find yourself, with hard racing action between that of the 17 and the 54. And I believe it could have been also a little bit of reactionary. I'm not sure where that of the 25 of Kaufman was going to go on top of that, as we're getting our instant replay set up here. But Trevor, certainly aggressive racing in the early going. You talked about it, wanting to get that track position early on, especially here in the first 10 laps. You want every position possible as the run develops moving forward. Going to get that spacing out faction, but here's what's going to bring out our first yellow of the night.
It looks like the 17 there of McCafferty, a little bit loose. Maybe on corner exit, gets into Dunning and kind of spins back up into the outside wall. And we see there's another car low there on the apron that I don't believe was Kaufman, but this is all post after Kaufman spinning. I mean, we see there 84 of Richie Jameson go for a slide into 1 after he avoided the 17, but it just looks like the looseness, Sam, starting to get to some of these drivers as they're trying to get the power down.
And that's going to be something really to try to find yourself with, is the fact that, you know, we had a couple of different drivers sliding there. I mean, we got to see that of the contact between Dunning and that of McCafferty, and then Bob Skinner sliding as well. And it was all off of that James Kaufman that really was struggling for himself. But, you in odd spots for some of these drivers. Interesting though, Brandon Colley in the one machine deciding to come into pit road for the one machine as he'll fade all the way to the end of the line, which I was watching that pit stop. I think he was just going for damage repair, wasn't even for that of tires for the one.
Interesting that he going for damage repair. He must have gotten into the outside wall at some point, or maybe just feels like if he got a hard enough shot in the rear end, maybe has a little bit of damage to that car. I mean, he definitely kind of off the pace there, Sam, at the start of the race. So definitely interesting that Brandon Colley already has damage this early on.
As well as going to have that James Hackworth Jr. going to be coming into pit road just to top off on fuel, and Bob Skinner comes into pit road just to fade to the back of the line as drivers stacked up, getting the 1-to-go marker. We're about to get back to green flag racing. It's going to be Vincent Sora, Zach Hall going to be your front two, as Vincent Sora opting to take the inside lane here, forcing Zach Hall to the outside lane, and there was a discussion over this caution of when to go. Drivers all seem to be agreeing we're going to take off on the green light, it seems like. So that's going to be giving some advantage to that of the leader. It's Vincent Sora already going to have over that of a car length ahead as the drivers side by side as we're back to green flag action for the WSSR Throwback 200. And drivers deeper in the field trying to hold on as that of Aaron Kralik on the pressure here for Zach Hall.
Yeah, Zach didn't get a great restart there. And Kralik really aggressive into 1 and 2. Zach tried to cover him off by driving really deep into turn number 1. Just wasn't able to do it. They're still going to be side by side for almost a full lap here. Sam, Aaron gets a little bit pinched. Zach's holding on really well on that outside line.
As we're riding on board the late Apex machine of Tom Sinchek, going to have to go groove higher than he wants as he's seeing almost a beating and banging of the drivers in front of him, of that of Kralik and Zach Hall. Hall is going to go all the way up to that outside lane, almost the third lane, to get a great launch for himself. That was something I was curious about. What are the drivers going to learn and utilize on their tires as we look back from the 8? Get a great shot of a driver in a very unique color. That's actually the 13 machine of Cedric Hunter in completely different colors here tonight. No longer in pink. He's in that Steve Park number 1 throwback machine.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of getting used to not seeing Cedric Hunter in a pink machine. Seeing him in yellow here as he's up a couple positions from where he qualified, up 3 spots from where he qualified up to 5th, but under pressure from Ryan Bird. You got Steven Stimpian right there, Jonathan Cogswell, and the 27 in Cal Rochelle all right behind him, trying to figure out which way they want to attack each other.
Pretty ironic moment here for that as Steven Stimpian. 2 drivers in front of him, 2 schemes that he's designed for those drivers. Stimpian also known for making paint schemes for drivers, and he made that for Ryan Bird as well. He made that for that of the 13 for Cedric Hunter. Ryan Bird got some help from the 8 machine of Tom Sinchek in front of him. I think that's also another joy of iRacing here, Trevor, is drivers trying to get in line for themselves, but is the community-wise of helping one another to build out some of these paint schemes. Not all of them have the ability to make their own, but to come together for these throwback nights.
Yeah, not all of us have the ability to masterfully work Photoshop or GIMP or whatever program that these guys choose to use. It's the nice part about it, like you said, the community factor of it. Yeah, we're out here racing week in and week out with one another, pushing each other hard, but more than willing to step in and help create something really cool for fun nights like this.
Steven Stimpian going to go high and try to make this work as Jonathan Cogswell actually going to be poking the nose, trying to put the pressure on, as well as Kyle Rochelle. 81's got to be careful because he could get swamped in an instant as Cogswell getting a little loose out of the corner, but he'll hold steady as they continue to just squeeze on top. And for that of our top, that of 9, all within 2 seconds of one another, and really starting to break away from the rest of the pack as we got a second group of drivers from that of 12th on back that are really turning into a huge gaggle of drivers. And if we continue to stay green, this is where we could see trouble billowing up for our lead lap drivers once they try to catch up to that of lap traffic.
Yeah, lap traffic around here can be really difficult, kind of like a Bristol where you're in the preferred lane, lap traffic is going to be in your preferred lane, and you're going to have to figure out ways around it. Could really bring drivers back to one another as they separate themselves out as the run continues, which is something that the leaders are going to have to worry about once we get to that point in the race.
As drivers in the field, you see that of Brandon Zimmerman and the 65 machine. A couple of these drivers having some fun with their different schemes that they have as we go deeper in the field. This is where we find that of Rich Jameson. Jameson a huge Alan Kawicki fan and wanted to find himself in the Hooters machine. And actually was able to grab this from Trade and Paints just on the gallery as he didn't have time to make his own scheme. And that's another, most drivers use that Trade and Paints to get their schemes on their machines and race here all night. As we look even deeper in the field, here's Dakota Moniz running a scheme, probably one of my favorite ever July Daytona races. It is actually the Tony Stewart CE Cola machine throwback back in the day when there were about, I believe, 6 different drivers running Coca-Cola schemes back then. It was a fun night to watch back in NASCAR, but 5 to have his fun back here as he's trying to survive deep in the field. And as we go all the way to the tail end, James Hackworth Jr., we talked about changing up the manufacturers because some of these cars look the same. Well, there's a Dodge look-alike for that of Hackworth.
Yeah, and it's a really, really good-looking machine there in the Hills Brothers Coffee Dodge, not Ford, but just kind of makes you wonder, if this is what a Dodge would look like if Dodge were ever to come back into NASCAR.
It would be so cool to see Dodge back. I know it was a sad time for some drivers, but it was cool to see how drivers get to change up these schemes. You take the grill of the Ford, and then you change it up, place different headlights on there, and boom, you got a Charger with you.
It just goes to show the creativity of the painting community in iRacing, what they can do, given the tools and everything at their exposure and the things that they can come up with.
Well, let's get a little bit of a better look of how some of this aggressive driving is handling on. As see here, Zach Hall, 42, still being pressured by the 0-1 of Aaron Kralik, but I'm curious on the hands for the 8 machine, or the late Apex machine that's just settling behind. Tom Senchek, he is getting pressured, but it seems like he wants to be one of the drivers to make a move. And let's take a look at what it's like in the hands of these drivers in the cockpit, because short track racing, it's all about working those hands, finding the better lane. But Trevor, take a couple of laps with us here with the 8.
Look, Tom, just nice and smooth into the corner. It's going to be corner exit where these cars can get a little snappy, a little bit of a correction, but not much there from Tom Senchek as he follows Aaron Kralik. I feel like maybe feeling like the 42 of Zach Hall is holding him up. But actually, Zach's going to go way wide in turn number 4 there, give that position up, and now Tom again going on the charge here, trying to attack the 0-1 of Aaron Kralik. But again, just nice, smooth wheel inputs for himself, even on corner exit.
Trying to stay smooth, and for the 42, Zach Hall had a little bit of blinking issues, immediately jumped high to get out of the way, thinks that he's got those issues fixed, and that's why he settles back from 2nd to 4th. That's just a respectful call of, I don't know what's going on my end, I'm going to get out of the way immediately. Okay, I think it's pretty settled, and let's take off. As you can see, that 42 machine in the mirrors of that of Tom Senchek as he continues to roll and survive at this moment. And as these drivers are having fun, you might have noticed we're missing a winner of this season. Where's Brian Johnson? The trophy smack machine isn't out on track. He's actually out traveling at this current time. Was not able to make this week's race, but he'll be back for next week. With Trevor next week, it does not get any easier for these drivers. They had to change up which track they were going to. They are going to Japan for the Twin Ring Motegi Grand Prix. They're going to go road course racing. As Zach Hall's issues, they flutter and strike again. The 42 has to get out of the way, and he'll stay high and lose even more positions for himself.
Yeah, just kind of a tough break here for Zach. Was running 2nd. Now, with those internet issues, just feeling like, hey, I feel like I might be a hazard. I'm going to stay high and see if this works itself out, find a nice little gap, and he's going to find a nice little gap here in that of about 9th place in between that of Kyle Rochelle and the 67 of Larry Yingling. So hopefully Zach can ride here for a couple of laps and see if that internet issue can sort itself out.
And it's good to be the fact that he's going to be away from any trouble at this current time. As, again, like I said, closest driver going to be Larry Yingling behind, and as well that of Kyle Rochelle in front of him. But it doesn't seem like putting any trouble or pressure. But speaking of pressure, the leaders aren't feeling it, but deeper in the field they are. 15th position. There are some great battles there as they're going to be side by side, 2 rows deep. It's that of Brandon Colley, who decided to give up space. He'll be getting a little bit of a tail slapper to the 56 machine of Wolsifer. Wolsifer's got to be careful as they almost go 3 wide for a quick second, as well as you're going to have that of Brad Delth. And also Thomas Walter, Rich Jamison, a lot of Dunning, Tyler Dangler. It's a huge pot of drivers, and this gaggle of cars got to be careful as they're on these older tires, and drivers are starting to show some issues as that of Thomas Walter getting some great shots of that of Wolsifer as well as Brad Delp. They are riding on top of one another through that of 1 and 2.
Yeah, almost made a little bit of contact there in turn 1 and 2, but Delp's going to finally get that position cleared. And now here's going to come the 86 of Richard Jamison looking to the inside of that of Richard Wolsifer. Gets a little stacked up, a little bit of a bump and a shove from the 04 of Thomas Walter as he got hit from behind by Jamie Gunning. Just showing you that the stack-ups can happen here. Contact can be made. Everybody keeps it straight, though, and here comes the 86 again with Jamison to the inside of Wolsifer. He's going to get that clear here on the front straightaway.
Starting to get a little bit more antsy as drivers have different driving lines on who's been saving those tires and who's not. You gotta be careful as they are getting a frisky back here for that of trying to stay inside of the top 15 for some. Others trying to crack into that window. As Brad Delp tries to pull away this whole entire group, running for 17th place. 17th all the way back to that of 22nd position is this little group of drivers we're watching here.
Yeah, and they can't be too patient with one another because Sam not too far behind him is going to be our leader. And Vincent Soar has already put Sean McCafferty 1 lap down and about to get to that of Bob Skinner. And then he's going to be on the tail end of this group, especially if they keep battling like this. And a big pinch there from Wolsifer on the 04 of Thomas Walter keeps them stacked up together, and it's going to bring the 5 of Moniz, the 19 of Dangler, and the 25 of James Kaufman all back into play here.
And this is, like you said, could be an issue for our leaders if they are not careful when they start to close in on this group, as they are having some great racing action back here up front. The battling that was going on for third place was getting actually a little bit crazy as they're actually going to get single filed out for now. But Vincent Sora, he is starting to close up onto that of Bob Skinner. I'm looking at the times though for Vincent Sora in his speed compared to everyone else. It's kind of mind-blowing at this time, Trevor. I mean, that last lap, a 19.3 second lap time. It's almost close to a full second off of their fastest lap they put on throughout this whole entire race. But to the next driver, that's almost 2/10 faster than everyone else. This is wild to see from the 15.
It just, I mean, goes to show you how consistent Vincent Sora is week in, week out, no matter what track we go to, that he can consistently lay down lap times that are, that much quicker than the rest of the field, and pulled away to a very comfortable margin over that of Aaron Kralik, about 2.3 seconds to gap back to Aaron. And that time by Aaron ran about the same lap time, but just, not going to help him close in running the same lap times as our race leader.
It's really not. And a driver that is trying to close in on the gap, that's going to be Cedric Hunter in the 13 machine in third place. But the issue is he's over 2.5 seconds off of our leader. But as you saw the camera pan, I mean, it's not over a quarter of a lap. He still has a little bit of a straightaway off from Vincent Sora, so at least he's visibly still in front. You can see from the 13's windshield, but Cedric Hunter is not a driver that, he's a lot more known for these long runs, so I'm not surprised that he's starting to find some good speed here. And as well in other series, it was back in that of the Gen 6 Cup machine, but Cedric Hunter has found success here at North Wilkesboro in other leagues, so I'm not surprised with the fact that he's starting to find a little bit of extra speed, trying to close in on the gap in the battle for this second place position.
Starting to close in on the 01 there of Aaron Kralik, but catching him was one thing, Sam. We talk about it, almost every week. Catching him is one thing. How are you going to pass him is another thing. And almost a little bit of contact with the outside wall there from the 13 of Cedric Hunter as he's being aggressive on corner exit. I think he has a little bit more grip here than the 01, a little bit more aggressive on corner exit. Able to get that power down as he continues to close that gap into this battle for second.
Closing in on the battle for second. You also saw for a quick moment the battling that was going on for that of 4th, 5th, and 6th place, as we are now officially a quarter of the way into this race here at North Wilkesboro. And I mean, we've had one caution so far. So if you're just joining us right now, haven't really missed much. A couple of drivers getting into one another. No one given that of required damage. As we've reported multiple times about these Gen 7 Cup machines, they are built like tanks. And drivers certainly can handle a little bit of damage here and there. Well, this is the battle for second place as Aaron Kralik, Cedric Hunter doing a great duel. The only issue, they're 2.5 seconds off of Vincent Sora. As the 13 finally gets his first opportunity, diving it down low, trying to get back into the throttle. And there goes Cedric Hunter up to that second place. And we'll see a little bit of fresh air. Can he run down the 15 as well? Starting to see the recovery run of Zach Hall. Zach Hall had some internet issues pop up that forced this 42 machine that was in second place to fall all the way back to 8th position. He's up to 6th and now making the pass for 5th.
Yeah, I was looking at some of his lap times the last couple of laps, even passing traffic wasn't that far off our leader of Vincent Sora. So Zach's still showing he has a lot of speed in that car, and now that his internet issues worked itself out for him, able to work his way back through the field now up to that of 5th position. He's got to chase down that of Ryan Bird in the 49 in front of him, but Sam, he gave up so much time with that issue of 5 seconds back of Vincent Sora in the moment.
Yeah, banking on a caution to come out as it is certainly not the best way to have to give up time as the driver coming into pit road. It's the 17 McCafferty, who you see on our ticker all the way back in 25th position, forced to come into pit road. His tires were kind of toast. He's been feeling off ever since being involved with our one and only caution of the day. But Trevor, the entry of turn 1 starting to look a lot more unique as you look through the field, especially seeing some of these drivers going all the way up to that wall practically with the arcing that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, you can go up to the top there in 1 and 2 and get a really good drive off. Some drivers like to use the bottom, some drivers use the middle. You see Zach Hall right here, almost all the way to the top. Really nice smooth arc down to the bottom. Really good drive off. Saw right behind him the 8 of, I believe that was Sinchek, and the 8 behind him kind of went for that lower line, really pushed on him on corner exit. So just showing you that these drivers with these worn tires can kind of move the car around to make it feel more comfortable for themselves.
You certainly can make it more comfortable for yourself as on board with the one machine of Brandon Colley. Colley trying to close in on the gap between himself and Larry Ealing for 9th position is this battle as well. I'm going to try to keep my eye on it. Vincent Sora has been closing in on that big pocket of drivers we were notifying about. It has shrunk now from that of about 6 to 7 drivers to just 3, but caution flag comes out. It's the 23 of Hackworth Jr. spun around as he has issues on that of the entry of turn number 3, and that was right in front of second place runner Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, I have to go back and see what happened there. I think that of Hackworth was trying to get to pit road. He just made contact, or just had some contact with our leader, Vincent Sora. As Sora went to lap him, it might have been trying to get to pit road, and Sam, I think he just got into the grass.
A lot of awkward timing. That whole entire lap coming to that caution was, incident that finally brought out the yellow was very awkward from Hackworth Jr. Like you said, Vincent Sora ran into him, didn't get too much damage, but a very bizarre moment that we're going to see here on this replay for the 23. And as well for James Hackworth Jr., you're going to see here, he just floats it down into that of the grass, clips the grass, and then is just on for a ride. And it's probably one of the most unluckiest drivers we've had here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting involved with it. That's Richard Wolsifer, and then Cedric Hunter on the inside, nowhere for him to go as well, caught up in that wreck.
Yeah, nowhere for Cedric to go. And Wolsifer, doing the right thing, going high for the leaders, staying out of the way, and then just nowhere for him to go, gets bounced down into that of Cedric Hunter. So be curious to see how much damage that 13 machine has, as he was looking really quick there in that run. But just interesting move from the 23 of Hackworth Jr. I think he was trying to get to pit road, Sam, and there's no escape road to really go down, and just looks like he just got down too far, got in the grass, and once you're in the grass in these cars, you're just a passenger at that point.
Well, now it's a question of who's going to be the true threat for Vincent Sora, because two of the biggest threats, that is Cedric Hunter and Zach Hall, both have had to fade back for their multitudes of different reasons. For Zach, it was internet issues. He had to fade from second place all the way to that of 8th, and now with this caution allows him to close in on that difference. But Cedric Hunter is now going to fall from second place all the way back to the tail end of the lead lap because he still has more damage to get repaired here.
Yeah, it came back down pit road this time by, and it's so hard here at North Wilkesboro to get 4 tires, get any damage fixed without going a lap down, just with how short this racetrack is and how quick the caution laps go by. So Cedric having to make another pit stop here and going to come out in 21st position, Sam. He's got a lot of work ahead of himself if he wants to, pressure Vincent Sora here for a win.
Well, we might need a little bit more time to close in on this gap as we're 2 cautions into this one. Drivers getting stacked up, ready to go. And that was one of the more bizarre wrecks that we've seen so far, but we'll see how the drivers can resettle in, and get themselves ready for this next restart. As if you're looking for yourself a trophy for many different reasons, I know currently right now in a couple of different NASCAR fantasy leagues might be looking for some trophies for fantasy. Some might be thinking also for fantasy football later on. Do a trophy smack, get yourself some trophies for that championship belts, rings, or just your trophy, or even get a wall smack at TrophysMack.com, as well as go click in the chat. You'll purchase your item today. Restart's on, and Vincent Sora, Ryan Bird, they're going to be taking off, but Eric Kralik, he is swamped back there in third place with Zach Hall to his outside, as Vincent Sora's trying to hold on, and they're wrecking on the front stretch.
Cautions breed cautions, Sam. Here we go. Another incident on the front stretch. It looks like the one of Brandon Cawley involved in it this time,
as he's trying to get himself looped back around. I think this one's going to be a pretty simple incident to look back on. That last one, a lot more awkward. This one, going to be simply just thought they had more space than there was. 2 drivers looking for the same real estate, not working out for one another as we're getting the replay up. I mean, Trevor, like you said, cautions breed cautions. It's going to be our 3rd caution now, but for a North Wilkesboro race, 70 laps in and only 3 cautions, this is actually going a lot better than it could have been, as we see here their reasoning for the yellow.
Yeah, been pretty good race so far. I mean, like you said, those 3 cautions and 70 laps, and it looks like just a little bit of a push up there. I think that's Christopher Norris in the 38 machine that makes contact there with the one of Brandon Cawley, and it just almost a 3-wide situation coming out of turn number 4, and you just run out of space. And thankfully for Cawley, nice easy spin, doesn't make a lot of hard contact with the inside wall here, if any contact, and so for the one machine comes off pretty unscathed in that spin.
Yeah, I think the worst damage going to come away from those tires with the slide, and then he does a little bit of a burnout trying to straighten it back out. But those might be the only reasons for us having this caution come out, and with it being our 3rd caution of the race, we're going to actually just take a quick commercial break. You won't miss a thing here tonight, as we're going to be going that side by side. As, again, won't miss a thing. We might not be back for the restart, but we will be back for more coverage of the WSSR Throwback 200 here at North Wilkesboro, as we will be back on the other side. Well, you gotta love the joys of side by side with our commercial breaks as you got to see the pass made. Ryan Bird getting by Vincent Sora as Richard Wolsifer has a self-spin that brings out our fourth caution of the day as the drama's mounting up. As our fourth caution of the day, going to be an interesting one for our leaders. They got to see the smoke, but Trevor, we have a brand new leader, and it's the 49 of Ryan Bird.
And just barely. I mean, just was had the nose out in front of the 15 of Vincent Sorb, and when the time of that caution comes out, and Bird looking really good here on the short run. The question is, if this race gets going green and we get another long run, will he have anything to hold off the 15 of Vincent Sora?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. Vince Sora, the unknown of the long run, as Bird does having some cheeky moves, thinking if he was going to come into pit road, deciding not. Sometimes those late moves can get you into more trouble than trying to fool somebody, as these drivers trying to pick out where they're going to be. Again, Richard Wolfsfer bringing out that last caution with the self spin for the 56 and having even more issues trying to get into pit road, but up front, going to be Ryan Bird, Vincent Sora, Zach Hall now back up into our top three for the 42. That of Aaron Krolix falling back to fourth place, cracking into our top five, up to that of 6 positions, or one of our bigger movers inside of the top 10. Going to be Larry Yingling, then Tom Sinchek, who's fallen 2 positions from where he qualified, going to be in 6th. 7th is going to be Christopher Norris, up 7 positions. Jonathan Cogswell in 8th. 9th is going to be Brad Delph, and also that of Jeff Gilmore, going to be your finishing out your top 10. Our biggest movers of the race, going to be 2 drivers up 10 spots. That's going to be Rich Jameson and Jamie Lee Dunning, both up 10 positions for themselves, back in that 13th and 14th position. Starting to see drivers pick and choose where they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable, as we're expecting the lights to put us to 1 to go once they come across the line. But it's going to be that of Ryan Bird, Vincent Sora, and Trevor. We were kind of talking about it under commercial break there. The thought of the aggression. When are we going to see it, if we're going to see it? We thought maybe Ryan Bird might have to use the bumper. He gets the pass done cleanly. What are you expecting here? Is there going to be a little bit of other drivers think about aggression here for the lead?
I mean, there might be. Ryan Bird, I mean, he did it the clean way. He had a couple of opportunities to stick his nose in there, give a little bit of shot to the 15 of Vincent Sora, but waited till he had the better run down the backstretch, then made that move on Vincent. But you never know. I mean, these drivers, we've seen them willing to be aggressive, but we still have that of almost 125 laps left to go here, Sam. And so maybe it doesn't play into their hands to get this aggressive early on. And here goes Ryan Bird with a great launch for himself. Vincent Sora gets off clean, and Zach Hall is going to fall right into 3rd place.
As we are back to green flag action, it's going to be Ryan Bird trying to hold on, but what will the early start look like for that of the 15? Well, not a great launch out of the corner, as Vincent Sora about to be swamped by 2 drivers that he saw all the way back to the beginning of the race. Eric Krolick, Zach Hall, the 15, he's got to get rolling because Ryan Bird's almost already up to a half a second gap lead with the way that he's getting out of these corners.
Yeah, Bird not wasting any time. Zach Hall tried to get to the inside of the 15 of Vincent Sora, got a little loose. Aaron Krolick on the outside, just kind of hanging there as they both were closing in, but it looks like Sora finally getting that 15 machine up to speed as he starts to pull away from those 2 battling for 3rd.
Trying to get by the battlers, as you're also seeing a driver dive it behind that of the 2 side-by-side machines. That was Larry Yingling, still trying to learn. I mean, a driver that's just 2 weeks ago was trying to figure out how to even drive these cars, but they're, oh no, going around. It's Tom Sinchek in front of the field.
Yeah, looked like a little bit of contact from Christopher Norris. Norris getting aggressive there in the exit of turn number 4, gets into the back of the 8 of Sinchek, spinning Sinchek in front of the field.
Well, almost the same identical spot that Norris found issues with the one of Brandon Colley before, and talked about using the bumper. I mean, Trevor, we're finding the one driver that's willing to use their bumper. It might not be intentionally wanting to use it, but it's being used. Christopher Norris has got to be careful, as he's in the lid machine 38, as a 38 machine. It's a big old red vehicle, which Norris said, I don't think I've ever ran a full red machine before. Well, tonight he certainly is looking like one of the biggest targets to watch out for with how he's running here tonight.
Yeah, definitely not making any friends here tonight, and probably painting a little bit of a target on his back if the one of Brandon Colley or the 8 of Tom Sinchek get back to him later in this race. Might see some retaliation from that, but on board here with the 8 of Sinchek as he's following behind there. Good look here from the rear end camera through 3 and 4, and it looks like Norris just gets to the gas a little bit sooner than the 8 and just clips him in the left rear there and spinning the 8 around.
And I get trying to get back into the throttle, but I mean, at the spot that he was trying to get back into the throttle there was no opportunity for a pass. You're not even at the straightaway yet to try to get underneath the driver. An awkward spot, and I think that's going to be still learning lessons that drivers are trying to get used to with this vehicle here tonight. But that is another driver sent to the back. Again, like we said, it was first Brandon Colley, now going to be the 8 of Tom Senchek. Christopher Norris, now one position outside of the top 5. He is making his way forward, but if you use your nose too often, you might get your rear bumper used up at some point here tonight. As Ryan Bird, Vincent Sora, they made their pit stop that of 30 laps ago. Now they're going to be finding themselves getting to see how the rest of this race is going to attack for themselves. I don't think I was given a number, Trevor, on fuel, so fuel could be something that the drivers feel comfortable on, but Ryan Bird trying to figure out where he wants to be on this restart as they're getting ready to choose where the leader wants to be, the inside, outside, and looks to be the inside for the 49.
Yeah, I think the inside's going to be that spot that we're going to see most of the leaders restart from. And we'll have to see here if Vincent Sora can get a better restart than last time. Almost fell back into the clutches of Aaron Kralik and Zach Hall, but them two battling kind of saved the 15 machine from falling a little bit further through the field. So we'll have to wait and see how it's going to work out for him. And then, I mean, you got Christopher Norris back there in 6th position, Sam. I mean, he's shown he's willing to be aggressive. So Norris could, maybe be a factor here for our top 5 drivers.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very good chance of that. And other drivers that are inside of our top 10, I mean, Jeff Gilmore back to racing with WSSR back there in 7th and 8th position, as well as Coxwell. 2 other drivers. I'm surprised to see how well they're running here tonight, but short track racing, you never know what you're going to see. And it's a much better launch from that of Vincent Sora to the outside. He's found that exit speed, and now he's going to have that nose ahead. Ryan Bird going to be fighting just right on back. And as we're coming to the halfway marker, Ryan Bird, he wants to solidify that lead position, but Vincent Sora not giving up. Our Pulitzer Award winner not wanting to just lay on over, but he could not make that outside lane work there.
Just couldn't get it to stick, couldn't quite get the power down through 1 and 2 like he needed to stay to the outside of the 49 of Ryan Bird. Put up a really good fight there. That opening lap on the restart. Now got the 42 of Zach Hall falling in line, trying to figure out if he can make some time up on the 15. Ryan Bird trying to pull away. And Aaron Kralik looks like he settled into 4th place with that of 38 of Christopher Norris in tow.
Yeah, I mean, he's settled in, but I was about to say, might want to watch out for the back bumper, that 0-1. Two wrongs don't make a right, but this 38, he's got to be hoping that he does not make the same mistake. He's gotten into the top 5, and in the back of his mirror, he's seen this madness as it's Coxwell as well as Gilmore staying side by side with the 27, going to get the advantage. Here comes the 13 as Cedric Hunter. Again, Cedric Hunter had to fall all the way back to the end of the line after being caught up with that of the Packard Jr. and Wolsifer incident that happened when we saw the 13 climbing through that of trying to catch up to Vincent Sora. Now that 13 up to 8th spot, trying to get his way through, but this is a logjam that we're seeing right now on track.
Yeah, drivers just stuck side by side on board here with the 81 of Stimpy, and just kind of showing you there's nowhere for everybody to go as the 27 of Cogswell gets loose. We're going to check out the 13 of Cedric Hunter. He's going to have to go to the outside, so he's going to lose a spot to that of the 81 of Stimpy and gain one on Cogswell in the 27, but drivers still stacked up on top of one another, just making these passes, Sam. Looks really tough for these guys.
Oh, Dunning!
That wide.
I think that was Colley and Dunning making a little bit of contact. Dunning's going to be gifted that spot as Colley just backs out of the way as they're going to be wrecking behind. Issue strike for Bob Skinner in the 82.
And it's going to be interesting, Sam. This might be a point where we see our leaders come down and take another set of tires here as they've been out on those, like you said, for almost 40 laps. So this could be pit stops for our race leaders as Skinner gets his car rolling around and we get the replay pulled up.
And, that's an interesting call because a few drivers have made their pit stops. That, seeing Tom Senchek when he got spun around, he came into pit road to get some tires and fuel. That Thomas Walter came in at the same time. That was 11 laps ago. And some are thinking about pit road as we get this instant replay up, but it's a very small amount of drivers that are thinking about coming to pit road, and it would be our leader, Ryan Bird, that comes in as This incident, just a single car self spin by the 82.
It's right here out of turn number 2. Really easy to do. It just looks like he gets into the gas a little bit too soon, gets loose, and does a really good job keeping it from going to the inside wall, but just kind of overcorrects there. Sam slides. Don't think he hits anything, but just a nice little lazy slide down the backstretch for the 82 of Bob Skinner.
Yeah, just a simple lazy slide, as you're going to see that as Zimmerman also drive on by, and there's going to be Hackworth Jr., and the driver that's in pit road currently going to be Richard Wolsifer, who is getting more repairs done for the 56. That of McCafferty in the 17, he has called it a night, has parked it, and is done. But some drivers coming into pit road, led by that of Ryan Bird. Then it was all the way down to 8th place, where Jonathan Cogswell followed suit with Brandon Colley, James Kaufman, Tyler Dangler, Bob Skinner, and as well that of Brandon Zimmerman coming into pit road. Trevor, interesting call. Ryan Bird and no one else close behind following him into pit road.
Yeah, I mean, the race leader coming down pit road, everybody else deciding to stay out behind him, apart from that of about 5 other cars. Sam, and interesting call from the 49 of Bird, maybe feeling like took a little bit too much life out of the tires trying to get by the 15 of Vincent Sora. But I mean, this could be a good call from them. If there is a quick yellow, might bring the rest of the guys down pit road, or if this thing stays green, it could play into their hands.
Might be a quick yellow, might be a quick commercial break, as we are just going to continue to go side by side for a quick second, as we'll be back in just a few moments. Oh, we first want to say thank you for being patient with us with that commercial break as we were getting some behind the scenes technical stuff set up, which is going to miss out on the reasoning for our 7th caution of the day. It was a pileup. No one with required damage, though. Some drivers coming into pit road to get those damage repairs. We'll touch more on that because we got to give a big thanks to to the sponsors that allowed WSSR to have the great coverage that they do. And their title sponsor is Roasted Gems Coffee. Thank you. If you want some premium coffee for 5% off, go purchase at roastedgems.com and use the promo code WSSR. And as well, another company that just got a WSSR promo code, that's Trophy Smack. Go use the promo code WSSR for 10% off on all things at Trophy Smack. That's their belts, rings, trophies, and as well, their wall smack. Wall smack is a great way to take an image, a meme, a quality image that you want to have on a stainless steel plate that can be safely placed on the wall. Go head over to that of Trophy Smack and grab your wall smack today. I know a couple of drivers have already gotten theirs. I know Rich Wolfsburg got a present from his dad with an image of his vehicle, and maybe you want a picture of one of your friends' cars, your own car on iRacing, or other images of just real life that you would like. Go head over and go use those images. Go get them on your wall smack today at Trophy Smack. What a great day it's been so far, watching the WSSR Throwback 200. 7 cautions so far. Wild night for themselves. But thank you for joining with us. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is going to be Trevor Earhart. And Trevor, certainly a wild night for a lot of these drivers as they're trying to get themselves settled into this race. But a night where you never know what you're going to find. And certainly a couple of awkward moments, especially this last caution that came out.
Yeah, last caution, kind of a stack up with Steven Stibbian kind of getting sent around by that of the 67, or not, I'm sorry, not the 67, but getting sent around in turn number 1 caused a big stack up. We saw Dakota Moniz, Brad Delph, Rich Jameson was the one that caused that kind of all stack up into turn number 1. But Sam, we're back under racing with Vincent Sora quickly under pressure from that of the 42 of Zach Hall. We're under caution again.
Well, we got to see a little bit of racing action, but it's a pile up in that of the entry of turn 3 again. As we got the Norris cam for a quick second there. Christopher Norris, what a run for himself up to 3rd place. But obviously drivers already have known about the 2 times that he's bumped people around. And it's been a known thing. Watch out, Norris could get you again. As drivers, that wreck going through the interior turn 3, Trevor, certainly a crazy one that started up there. I believe it was around that of Aaron Kralik, but it just was a bizarre wreck of drivers stacking into one another. It started with Kralik, but it got finished off with that of seeing drivers even in the middle of the field with some of their other incidences.
Yeah, it looked like Aaron Kralik got into the outside wall, and then Ryan Bird gets into the back of the one of Brandon Colley. Both these drivers involved in our last kind of stack up that we had in turn number 2, and it looks like Bird turns the one of Colley around, and then Bob Skinner has nowhere to go. Stympian gets spun again from the 14 of Delph. The 86 makes hard contact at the outside wall. Thomas Walters squeezes through there. The 5 of Dakota Moniz squeezes through there. The 54 is turned around on the outside wall, and more calamity ensues in 3 and 4 this time.
Certainly was. As Bob Skinner and I believe it was someone else that was heavily damaged that had to come into pit road, but they already got the damage repaired and out there. That was Thomas Walter, excuse me. That was that second driver that was caught up in that wreck that had extreme damage. As see the drivers stacking into one another here, some slowing down, others not able to. But off the nose, the one comes down, and everyone's trying to whoa up in some fashion. Dunning gets so thrown into the sky, but Walter bouncing like a pinball machine, and that 04 going to get some required damage. There's Dunning, a hard impact for that of the Hooters machine of Rich Jameson. And again, only 3 drivers with required damage. That's Bob Skinner, Thomas Walter, of the 2 that were involved with that incident. And then what started that catalyst, Aaron Kralik, got some hard front damage that he's gotten repaired. And he's back out there on track, as Bob Skinner is the only of the 3 that got required damage that are still sitting in pit road. As Vincent Sora leading the way, but Zach Hall there on that restart before the yellow came out was putting the pressure on there, Trevor. And Christopher Norris just settling in where he's at. But look, don't look too far back. He's back in the mix. Cedric Hunter up to 4th.
Yeah, Cedric Hunter with a great recovery after his unfortunate incident when he got caught up in a wreck with the lap cars there, back up to fifth, but can't look too far behind Cedric. Sam, you got the 19 of Tyler Dangler is the first car on new tires. It was the 14 of Ryan Bird, but Bird's been caught up in 2 incidents since he made that pit stop, just kind of showing that how important track position is and how wild the back of the pack is that the 49 hasn't been able to make his way up through there. But Tyler Dangler, Jonathan Cogswell, James Kaufman, and Steven Stimpy, and the ones on the freshest of tires, lurking right there behind our leaders, just outside the top 5.
How well are the tires going to hold up on this restart? Well, let's find out. Pace car is off, and we're back to green flag racing here for the WSSR Throwback 200. As we've got less than 80 laps to go. It's time to make that push to the end. Who's going to be there to fight for a win? As Christopher Norris going to get a little bit wiggly there, going to give up an opportunity on the entry of turn 3. Cedric Hunter got to get back into the throttle. He's going to go a little bit higher than most, but here comes the run on the straightaway to keep himself at that quarter panel, and it's going to give him another chance on the outside to the quarter panel. He's looking for a giant run out of the corner to make this pass for third as Cedric Hunter over Christopher Norris.
We got a pretty good run there side by side into turn number 3 and 4. Zach Hall with a little bit of internet issues again.
That's going to be the 19 of Tyler Dangler, spun around into the grass as he'll get it straightened out and back rolling, but he's got to be quick because if he doesn't get on track now, he's going to be going a lap down as Vincent Sora is closing in on this gap. It looks like the 19 heading straight to pit road for himself. There goes the leader and the rest of the field. It's the 19 of Tyler Dangler. One bad incident, we stay green, and the racing action of Zach Hall, he bounces back to 5th.
Yeah, just as that incident with Tyler Dangler was happening, Zach Hall had another internet issue, went way high in 3 and 4, losing a lot of time here, maybe having that same problem he was having earlier, trying to kind of get that sorted out as he's falling back through the field. But that gives second position now, same to the 38 of Christopher Norris, as he was able to hang on and hold off the 13 of Cedric Hunter for the time being.
Riding on board with Steven Stimpy in the 81 as you see his driver cam trying to figure out how to get by that of Zach Hall. Hall, such a question mark of what you're going to get here tonight. He's fast, but again, those internet woes are what's spooking him. As drivers behind bring out the yellow, and it's the 25 of James Kaufman. That exit of 4 just has not been his spot.
Kaufman again getting caught up in another incident here off of 4. Might have had a little bit of help in doing so, and Sam drivers now, especially in the back of the pack that were up front, getting a little bit aggressive, as I think he might have had a little help from the 49 of Ryan Bird in this incident.
Yeah, and that's always the thing of when you get someone who's fast, who's been up front, or felt like, hey, I should be running for a win, that gets stuck in the back half of the field. It always seems like that thought of overdriving is they're going to go for it, and it seemed like that's what we're going to see here. As watch out for the 49 of Ryan Bird. There's the 25 of James Kaufman, as that Kellogg's machine's going to get a bump initially. And there's the first initial bump, but then it just goes and escalates to worse and worse as this continues on.
Yeah, 1 bump's fine. 2 bumps you can probably get away with. The 3rd bump right there finishes off the 25 of James Kaufman, sends him around here on the front stretch, but thankfully doesn't make contact with the wall, doesn't make contact with anybody else. So just apart from a little bit of tire wear there, the 25 not in too bad of shape.
Not too bad of shape, but man, that exit turn 4 has certainly been a nightmare for that James Kaufman, who continues to race on and still stays on the lead lap, which is the major positive to take away. That's the one thing, Trevor, that I've been noticing here with those 2 major, gridlock incidents that we've had in almost 3. It has caused a lot of drivers to stay in pit road, try to get damage repair, and force drivers to be a lap down or multiple laps down. Currently, that Thomas Walter, the first driver, 1 lap down. Then Scott Rochelle, 2 laps down. Tyler Dangler's now 2 laps down, and everyone else even more than that. And yes, we've had 9 cautions come out, but there's an opportune chance that there's not going to be enough cautions to get you back on the lead lap if you're already more than 2 laps down at this current moment.
Yeah, I think if you're in that 2-lap down range, you might be able to get back, on the lead lap with kind of the rate that we're going right now. But even more than that, Brandon Zimmerman, maybe he's 3 laps down there in 21st. He might be able to if we keep up this pace, but it's going to be hard for those guys to get those laps back and then get back to the front of the field. And Sam, our leaders still haven't made a pit stop since lap 63, our top 5. Everybody behind them, though, has made their pit stops and on fresher tires.
And I know the two fan favorites in our chat would be happy to hear this. Drivers that are inside of the top 10, Steven Stympian in 6th, Brandon Colley in 9th, both with some of the freshest tires out there on track. That of Brandon Colley has the freshest tires of everyone inside of the top 10 at this current time. We'll see how well he can climb through the field as this driver stack up. It's Zach Hall, Christopher Norris, your front two. You don't get to hear that very often here, Trevor, especially with the 38. Like we were talking about under our commercial break, it's kind of an unknown what you're going to get from Christopher Norris. It's either a heroic run or sometimes it's just a slump of just terrible racing where he's just struggling to find himself inside of the top 15, which was kind of the incident last week. Here tonight, the aggression has been rewarded, but how much longer can he hold on as we're back to green flag racing? Vincent Sora going to be trying to hold off that of Cedric Hunter as well as that of Christopher Norris. And as they continue to battle back and forth, it's going to be the 38 still holding strong on the outside. And it's the other two-time world champion, Larry Yingling, inside of the top 5 in 4th place. Zach Hall in 5th. They're closing in, but Steven Stympian still the driver to watch out for in 6th place.
Yeah, Stympian's the driver you definitely want to watch out for on those freshest tires. But here comes Larry Yingling in the 67. I mean, he's been quiet all night, Sam, slowly working his way through the field as he tries to get to the outside of Cedric Hunter. Can't make that work. But Stympian just stuck behind the 42 of Zach Hall, nowhere to go in that 81 machine as he still tries to find a way around Zach Hall.
Still trying to find a way around, and then from behind this 81 machine, it's Brandon Colley, the 1. He's one of those drivers that's known for aggression. Has a name, it's the 1 machine that he's willing to get aggressive back in 8th place as he's trying to find any type of wall to go, as well as the other very aggressive driver, Ryan Bird, inside of the top 10. Trying to get by that of Dunning. Dunning caught up in a wreck earlier. The 54 just trying to survive on the outside, but that may not be where you want to be at this current moment.
Yeah, might not. Yeah, I don't think that's where the 54 really wants to be, but it allows him to get a really good drive off to kind of hold up the 1 of Brandon Colley, and does a really good job of it right there, using that outside line to his advantage to carry that momentum. Is actually going to allow him to kind of attack the 81 of Stympian, as Stympian got caught up trying to on the inside of Zach Hall, wasn't able to get a really good drive off. Dunning now again under pressure from the 1 of Brandon Colley as Colley tries to make this inside line work so he can move up a couple positions.
Colley, Stympian, they were trusting that their tires were good enough to make the inside lane work. Might be stalling out this current time. Zach Hall backing up the field. Larry Yingling not able to get a good run, mainly because they're being stuffed out as Colley, a little bit of a touch out the exit turn 4. He'll throw it down back into the corner, not giving space to Ryan Bird. Bird says, I'll take this spot on the inside. And there goes the 49, powering his way forward. Cogswell, Brad Dell, just sit and wait where to go for themselves here, as it is coming to that of 60 laps to go. Here shortly, Vincent Sora still leading the way. Cedric Hunter's trying to close in on the gap for that a second, but Colley and Stympian, they were the drivers that we thought were going to be the ones to making some of the bigger moves. But the way that they're going patiently up through this field, Trevor, it's not the worst call. They still have time, even with how patient they're being.
Yeah, still have plenty of time, and now the 49 Ryan Bird again, kind of on that same pitch strategy as the 81 of Stympian. He's worked his way up, got clear of the 1 of Brandon Colley, but now he's got to get by Zach Hall, Larry Yingling, the 38 of Christopher Norris, to get back up to the 81 of Stympian.
Watching out the 81, got in the throttle quickly, recognizing I've got to get by this 38 as fast as possible. He will get by Christopher Norris. Norris trying to block there on that of Zach Hall. Did not work out for himself. Lazy blocks for 38 have not been good in his history. But luckily, he'll still be racing here tonight. But Steven Stympian, he's gotten clear, and now it's the close-in rate that he's got to have to catch up to our top 2 that are over a second ahead of the 81.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now that he's clear of all the cars on older tires, how quickly he can catch up to Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, and Ryan Bird now almost clear of the 42 of Zach Hall, but there's a caution.
And it's Brandon Colley spun around on the intro turn number 1. The 1's aggression not going to stick out here for this caution flag, 10th one of the day. Looking to see if maybe there was some contact, and I think there might have been some contact on this one for the 1.
Yeah, not sure who he made contact with, Sam, but spins around, it hits the inside wall, spins up the racetrack, collects a couple of other cars. Believe the 86 involved, the 25 involved. I think it might have been some contact with the 38 of Christopher Norris again, Sam.
This one might need an aerial coverage view of, what was going on between those drivers as we get the instant replay up. Mainly because watching out for the difference. Both drivers going to be trying to hold their own lines, but I mean, Trevor, that's an awkward spot where you get the 38 kind of wiggling, but kind of trying to hold his line. Colley's trying to get a better, way to arc into turn number 1. Doesn't work out. The one comes back up on the track, and the rest of the field just get caught up, spun, and hard contacts all around.
Yeah, Jameson with the hard contact there. Kaufman just nowhere to go with some hard contact as well. And it looks like, Colley just kind of drove up into the side of Norris. I mean, Norris kind of nowhere for him to really go, was already kind of up against the wall. Colley gets up into the side of him, but then kind of ricochets down into the inside wall, back up the racetrack. But it's kind of one of those racing incidents, Sam. You try to make the corner a little bit wider on entry, you get up into the car on the outside of you, and here's going to be a good look of it on the onboard of the one.
I mean, it's such a quick bang move. It's so hard to judge on who. There's really no one at fault. It's just a racing deal of two drivers both trying to figure out how to enter turn 1 in different ways, and got too close, made contact, and it's the one that gets the brunt of it.
Yeah, Norris gets lucky there, doesn't get any damage, but hard contact for Brandon Colley, and that's the 3rd or 4th wreck that Brandon Colley has been involved in here tonight, Sam. Since he got shoveled to the back early on, it just has not gone the way of the one machine here tonight.
It has not, as your eyes do not deceive you. That is the 81 of Steven Stimpian leading the way. Jeff Gilmore going to be in 2nd place. Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter, and the rest of the field decided to come into pit road for 4 tires and fuel. While Steven Stimpian going to be on about that 34-lap older tires. Jeff Gilmore going to be on 17-lap older tires than the rest of the field. Trevor, this is an interesting call, mainly because this is going to be a true test for Steven Stimpian on how can he hold off that of Vincent Sora, who's going to have we're expecting a pretty good launch due to Stimpian starting on the inside here.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if Stimpian can hold off the 15 of Vincent Sora. I mean, we knew he was coming to run down the 15 and 13 of Cedric Hunter on those fresher tires, but now the roles have been reversed. He's the one on the old tires by that of about 34 laps compared to that of Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter. But Sora can't look too far behind him. I mean, Ryan Bird was the driver, Sam, that ran him down the first time after Cedric Hunter's incident, and he's got Cedric Hunter and Ryan Bird both right around him. There's going to be an interesting restart for the 15 machine.
Well, the Looney Tunes machine going to be trying to hold off the best that he can, but he's getting shoved by Vincent Sora. Sora trying to give him a little bit too much space. Vinny says, get out of my way. I want the lead right back, and he'll do it side by side. The 15 almost taking the lead immediately, but here comes Ryan Bird right on the back bumper. We're going to be 3 wide. Stimpian holds the lead as they're wrecking behind. Believe that's going to be Brandon Colley caught up in another one.
And the night just keeps snowballing for Brandon Colley. Goes from bad to worse to just forgettable for the one machine. So we'll get the replay pulled up for you, but almost a big moment for Stimpian as he got a huge shove from Vincent Sora down into turn number 1. Did a great job hanging on to that 81 machine.
He did a fantastic job holding on. Certainly a scary start for the 81 machine. They were 3 wide when the yellow was thrown. And that of Vincent Sora will move up to 2nd place. Gilmore going to be in 3rd. Ryan Bird going to be in 4th with Cedric Hunter in 5th place as we get the replay up for you here. It's going to be that of a 1 driver spin, but it's an awkward timing. Here the 1 going to run right into the back bumper of that James Hackworth Jr. And that contact just unsettles the 1 machine, and away he goes.
Yeah, just runs into the back of him there, and then in doing so, probably got on the brakes, locked it up, spins the 1 around, and thankfully makes no contact with anything else. But Colley, again, going to have to go to the back of the field and try to make his way back up to the front.
And as we were looking at this replay, Zach Hall has given himself an EOL. His internet seems to be disconnecting ever so slightly once again, and just recently it was so aggressive that he actually had to go into the inside pit, into the grass, to avoid the rest of the drivers because he had no idea where he was on track. giving himself an EOL. The 42 was looking so promising here, Trevor. Now just going to be trying to salvage maybe a top 15 finish if possible here.
Yeah, gonna see what he can do here. Hopefully that internet issue that has persisted him all night long can get itself worked out here in the last 58 or 48 laps of this race for himself. I mean, he's had speed, Sam. It's just the unfortunate part of the internet connection. It's cost Brandon Colley, or not Brandon Colley, cost Zach Hall a potential chance at winning this race.
Yeah, I mean, Zach, again, he's been trying to stay out of everyone's way. Whenever he has issues, he moves up to the outside lane and kind of just backs off. But just too much. And now we'll start in the tail end of the longest line here on this restart. We're in the final quarter, everybody. Less than 50 laps to go. Steven Stympian got the shot of the world as he got pushed by the 15 into turn number 1 on that last restart. Vincent Sora now going to start most likely on the outside. We'll see how well he can hold on for himself on this go-around, because now he's going to have Jeff Gilmore on the back bumper. This Ryan Bird, Vincent Sora on the outside lane. That is a very strong front two on the outside. We'll see how they are going to get this restart going, as you've seen the highs and lows. Drivers had to go pushed all the way to the back. Some have been up front for the majority of the night. And who will come away with the trophy at the end of this evening here at North Wilkesboro for that of the WSSR Throwback 200? Steven Stympian, Vincent Sora, Ryan Bird, Jeff Gilmore, Christopher Norris going to be your top 5. Cedric Hunter, that of Jamie D. Dunning. Yingling, that of Sinchek, Del Kaufman. We are back to green flag racing, and is it going to be the 81 to 15 almost contact as they're going through the center of 1 and 2? And out of the exit, Sora with the better launch. He's got the nose as they go into turn number 3.
He's got the fresher tires, can get the power down a little bit more than the 81 of Stympian, but Stympian's going to hold strong on that bottom line, but it's going to be right here, the corner exit, where the 15 just looks so much stronger on those fresher tires as Gilmore gets into
Bird, hold on, no! As they're trying to scatter away, hard contact as drivers continue to trickle in. And he thought maybe he could hold on to it, but at the end of the day, gets too much of contact, and Ryan Bird has to figure out how to go back to the end of the line again here, Trevor.
Poor Ryan Bird, since he made that pit stop, Sam, from the lead, has been caught up, and I believe this is the 3rd or 4th incident for himself. 3rd for sure. Was involved in the huge stack up in turn 2 when we were at commercial break, was caught up in the stack up in turn number 3, and then this one for sure is going to send the 49 back to the back of the field here again tonight.
That is going to be our 12th caution of the evening, and you know, we've talked about that of Trophy Smack. I know the last couple of weeks, whenever I do the reading for their Wall Smack product, it's under green, and then we see a rack that pops up. I know last week in chat there was conversations, what should be the Wall Smack wreck of the race? Well, we've had 12 cautions. I know we've seen the most of them. Has there been a caution where you thought, hey, that was a big one? What do you think was maybe the Wall Smack wreck of the race so far? We still have coming up to less than 40 laps to go, which means there's 40 laps of more carnage to be shown. But hey, I'd love for you, the audience members, to be involved with your thought of the Wall Smack wreck of the race. And as well, what do you think would be the most memorable thing to put on a Wall Smack, do you think? Would it be a self-portrait? Would it be a family photo? Or could it be something funny or something great? Go get it at that Trophy Smack and put it on as their Wall Smack product, stainless steel that goes onto the magnet. That is a safe way to protect your walls, and as well put a great product up to show off to everyone in your house. Go get your Wall Smack today at Trophy Smack, and remember to use the promo code WSSR at purchase to make sure that you get your 10% off on all products at that of Trophy Smack. Thank you so much for Trophy Smack for partnering up with the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series. It's been awesome to shout out, even throughout other leagues. It's just a fun product to always, you know, we hit walls are around us, and we get to hit them all the time. So it's always fun when we get to shout out the Wall Smack product from Trophy Smack.
It's a great combination. You get a great product in the Wall Smack, and you get to call a fun event when a driver smacks the wall pretty hard. So I think it's a great combination there, Sam.
An absolute brilliant combination. As our drivers waiting to get the one to go indicator Gonna be, again, old tires for Steven Stimpian. Fresh rubber, gonna be mixed and mingled with Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter on the inside lane. But Jeff Gilmore doing his best to just hold on. But I gotta say, the fresh tires just look a lot more consistent here. And those are gonna be the ones to watch out for. It's Christopher Norris still in their top 5. Incredible to see. But he's got to be careful because Tom Sinchek is closing in. And if you haven't been watching, you just don't join now at 38, a lids machine that's trying to, again, tonight's throwback schemes. That's actually a throwback to the Casey Kane 9 machine back when he had the Budweiser. At 38, he's getting bright red, a big target, and he's pushed around a couple of drivers earlier in this race, and he's going to give a huge shove to Steven Stimpian into turn number 1. Going to be for Knoll as already Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, 1-2, and trying to pull away.
Yeah, this could be dangerous for the 15 of Vincent Sora. I mean, Cedric Hunter, apart from Ryan Bird, has been really the only car that has rivaled the 15 in speed. Stimpian clears the 38 of Norris as they battled between Yingling and Gilmore for that of 6th position, but Gilmore on the old tires is really struggling on that bottom line. And here comes Cedric Hunter with a look to the inside, a little bit of contact made to the back of Vincent Sora, but Sora keeps it straight in that battle for the leads, heating up.
We're starting to see the side-by-side deeper in the field, but yes, like you said, the battle for the lead is heating up. Vincent Sora got that new nose, used that at the end of last week at Texas. Both Zach Hall, Vincent Sora were loose at the exit of turn 4, but it was Vincent Sora after the contact spinning around. Both drivers, the 15, crossed the line as the victor at Texas. Here tonight, will he be the victor for the 15 if he's leading on the last lap? Will someone decide to use their nose to get him out of the way? We'll have to wait and see as we still are top 3 pulling away from the rest of the field. Christopher Norris going to be in that valve holding back the rest of the crews. You see them still side by side for that of 8th place. But Cedric Hunter trying to just keep it close and trying to figure out the exit as both drivers wiggle there on the exit of turn 2.
Both drivers trying to get everything they can out of it, but they can't look too far behind them because here comes the old tires. Steven Stimpian hasn't fallen away from our leaders at all, actually closing back in on these two as they continue to battle it. So the 81 is still in play here, Sam. 3-way battle for the lead as Cedric Hunter again just tries to get a little bit better of an exit to see if he can get to the rear bumper and upset the 15 machine of Vincent Sora.
Trying to figure out the exit plan as that is Cedric Hunter. Almost got a decent exit there, but just had to back off as the 15 still in the way. Not able to get a clear exit, clear view. But man, there's the closing right out of turn 2. Not a good exit for Vincent Sora, but you can see it visibly. The 13 is starting to find something on the exit of turn 2. It's the exit of 4, though, and a lot of this time is being lost, it looks like, for Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, it looks like Cedric Hunter definitely better through 1 and 2. Especially on exit than the 15 of Vincent Sora, but it's 3 and 4 where Sora kind of evens that back out and the gap stays the same. But if Cedric can get a good run out of 2, might be able to find a way past the 15. We saw the 15 throw a little bit of a block a couple laps ago, and Cedric decided to go to the outside. But as this race progresses, Cedric might not be so nice there to go to the outside, might dive it to the inside right here, and thinks better of it, Sam. But that opportunity is getting more and more there for the 13 of Cedric Hunter.
29 laps to go, less than 30 here at North Wilkesboro. First short track of the season. We come back to short track racing for race number 6 of the regular season in just about 3 weeks. Next week, we go to that of road course racing at Twin Ring Motegi's Grand Prix circuit. Then after that, they go to Nashville Super Speedway for the concrete, and then it's IRP. That is going to be some hard racing at IRP. It's even a shorter track than this, and certainly it's got a lot of good space in speed. And talking about speed, it's no contact as Zach Hall's going to be able to go down low. They somehow get it straightened out, but they were too sideways for too long with oncoming traffic. That is caution number 13. Let's re-stack them. Let's try it again with less than 25 laps to go here tonight.
This restart's going to be a lot of fun, Sam. We're closing in on these laps. Drivers are going to get more aggressive, and the bumps, I think, are going to get a little bit harder to the drivers in front of them as guys try to make up track position. But take your breath now while you can, because I think drivers are going to be holding their breath for these last 20 laps or so.
All right, so here is the scenario for some of these drivers. They still have, for a majority of them, have still 2 sets still in pit road to work with. But if you're going to come into pit road this go around, like you see that Jeff Gilmore, you got to know you're just giving up track position. The rest of the field, most likely, you're going to stay in wherever they're at. But man, if the whole entire group came in as one to pit road, Trevor, this was going to be a mad dash at the end because fresh rubber is still there for everyone in this field.
Yeah, it could have been really interesting, and still, I mean, if there's a quick caution, we might see some leaders come down pit road, but I doubt it. I don't think anybody wants to give up that track position, Sam, that they have, based off of the kind of the chaos we've seen in the back half of the pack and how hard it is to pass one another.
As you got to see that of the red and black machine, that was Tyler Dangler getting his lap back, and will be that of our 18th driver on the lead lap on this go around. I mean, you know, talking about tires and the decisions of coming into pit road, I think even if there's a quick caution, this was probably the last time drivers were going to come into pit road, because at this point, if you go into a long run, if another quick caution comes out, it's going to be less than 25 laps to go, hypothetically, because we've already passed the time for anyone to come into pit road. Drivers that did take the opportunity for tires, going to be Dakota Moniz, it's going to be that Rich Jamison, Gilmore, as well as Kyle Rochelle. But Rochelle 2 laps down, he's going to need a couple of more cautions to get back into being a factor here tonight. But if another quick caution comes out, that's now going to be less than 20 laps to go. And then if we go into a long green flag run, that's just not enough time to gain all these positions back. It has to be a full group effort, or at least everyone doing the opposite of the leader if you're going to be making a decision. That next caution, that's the only thing that makes sense in my thoughts of this situation, Trevor. But it's so difficult to make these calls at this point, especially with our top 3, Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter. They look so strong. And just for Stympian, Steven looks like he just needs an extra set of tires on these 81 to be an even bigger threat than he is right now.
Yeah, I mean, Stympian's doing a great job with how old his tires are compared to our leaders with being able to hang on to them. But I think you're 100% right, Sam. I don't think we'll see our leaders down pit road unless they leave Vincent Sora out to dry and everybody comes in behind him, which as the leader, I mean, that's a possibility that happens to you in these late stages. But if that's going to happen, I think they're going to need a quick caution. Otherwise, if we get a caution with like 10 laps to go, I think everybody's just going to stay out again.
Well, everyone in the top 14, except for 2 drivers, are on the same set of tires. That is Steven Stympian. He's on the oldest set, 66-lap old tires. The rest of the field on 33-lap old tires. Ryan Bird in 11th place. He's got the freshest of those inside of our top 14. As we're back to green flag racing, it's Larry Yingling on the outside trying to make the power move to get by. That is Steven Stympian for 3rd place. Here comes Dunning. Christopher Norris going to get a little bit loose there, holding on. And he EOL'd himself, but he's back inside of the top 10. Zach Hall, 8th place, but it might be too far back to maybe a threat to crack into our top 5.
Yeah, I mean, he's had the speed all night, but the internet issues, the EOL, the track position hasn't been there for himself. He's got a lot of traffic to work his way through if he wants to catch up to Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter, and Sora not wasting any time driving away from the 13 machine on this restart compared to the last one. So Sora's going to have to work as Stympian loses it.
Steven Stympian into the grass. He'll hold on, but it bounces off the inside wall. We'll keep it green. He was not sideways enough with oncoming traffic to bring out a yellow. With that and 19 laps to go, though, we stay green. With that of Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter, that of Larry Yingling trying to close in the gap, and Zach Hall seeing Brad Delph, Christopher Norris, as well as Dunning. This could be a good opportunity for the 42 to get into the mix as Brad Delph loose in front of the 42, somehow holds on. No, he won't. In front of the 1, as well as Ryan Bird. Another caution and more carnage.
More carnage, and guess who it is? It's Ryan Bird, Brandon Cawley, the 2 drivers, I think, Sam, that have been involved in the most wrecks tonight, again, caught up in an incident. It all started with Brad Delph getting loose at turn number 4, gets a little tap from the 42 of Zach Hall, spins the 14 back up the racetrack, and nowhere for Ryan Bird and that of Brandon Cawley to go.
As Rich Jamison coming in there late in that incident, as well as Brandon Cawley, both require damage for themselves. They'll have to come to pit road and get those damages repaired. Otherwise, they will get disqualified. As we get the instant replay up, going to be another caution, another opportunity. I think it's going to be helping out Cedric Hunter as well as Larry Yingling on this go around to try to get a better restart. They kind of lost touch there with Vincent Sora on that last go, but here's what happened. It's going to be trying to drift up. Was not clear off the bumper of Christopher Norris. Gets loose. Now just trying to save it. Overcorrecting right in front of Zach Hall. Gets the bump, and that bump is what causes the 14 to continue to be out of control. He tries to save it, drifts it back up into the field. Nowhere to go for Collie. Bird's going to be collected once again. And it just continues to swamp in more and more. But then watch out here late on the outside. The 86 machine, nowhere to go. It's just a wall. And it's going to plow right into the 14's front bumper.
And just kind of picked a line, hoping that everybody was going to be out of his way there for Rich Jamison. And just unfortunately for him, Delph had it locked down on the top of the racetrack there and didn't move out of the way for himself in hard contact with the front end of his machine. But Sam, we got to re-rack it again, try it again. And like you said, chance for Cedric Hunter, Larry Yingling to get better restarts here on the 15 of Vincent Sora to see if they can really challenge him here for a win.
Man, I am always surprised when we look back at the history books of the WSSR, back in season 4, when they decided to come back from a year-long hiatus, and they decided, let's bring him back, the WSSR. I was looking at the history books. Larry Yingling was always a driver that always just blew my mind on his average starts, average finishes for that of the 67. And Larry, once again, trying to finish inside of the top 3. This driver's so consistent, Trevor. He is average start career-wise in over that of 27 starts in WSSR history books. Average start, 3rd place. Average finish, 2nd place. And right now, in 3rd position, he has never finished outside of the top 10 in any race that he's ran in. And he's been in the top 5. He's missed out only that 4 times in his career. Even when he's getting back and learning a new car, the 67's always a threat. And as the season progresses on, he's going to be a bigger and a bigger threat to watch out for, especially on the fact that last week he came back after being gone. First time ever touching this Gen 7 Cup machine, finished 4th. He's already in the up and up, right now in 3rd.
Yeah, first time back in a Gen 7 car. Finishes 4th. First time, I think he said this was the first or second time he'd been here at Wilkesboro, and looking great for himself, restarting 3rd. And here we go, back under green, and this time a much better restart from the 13 of Cedric Hunter. He's right there at the bumper of the 15 of Vincent Sora. Let's see if he can get that drive off and get to his bumper down here in 3 and 4. But Sora with a great corner exit there, and it's going to make it hard for the 13 of Cedric Hunter.
Trying to put the pressure on. You can allow him to get ahead, but you cannot allow him to pull away. That's the big thing here for Cedric Hunter with Vincent Sora right in tow. They're keeping it within a close enough distance that if he wants to get aggressive, it's possible. Zach Hall, I want to take back that statement I made before. He's now up to 5th place. He's cracked back in the top 5. Ryan Bird might have been involved in that last wreck. Well, he's still in our top 10, side by side with Christopher Norris, but it's for the lead. 10 laps to go. Who is winning the Throwback 200 here tonight? And Vincent Sora has looked like the odds-on favorite, but can it continue on? As this current moment, it looks to be so.
Yeah, and Cedric Hunter got to his bumper the last lap in 3 and 4, gave him a little bit of a push, but not enough to upset the 15 machine. And that time by, Cedric didn't get the good run that he needed out of turn number 2 like he had been getting. This time again, struggling to get the power down out of turn number 2, and it's here in 3 and 4 where Sora's been so much better than everybody else, and slowly starting to creep away is that 15 machine of Cedric Hunter with a little bit of looseness on the exit.
A little bit of looseness as we look back to the battling that's been going on for 5th place. Zach Hall, Ryan Bird. Bird might be dealing with some damage, but he's still on the charge the best that he can. Larry Yingling trying to hold off that of Jamie Lee Dunning. And Dunning, what a run for the 54 machine, who's been searching for a decent run. Has been just very inconsistent at times. Right now, has stayed out of trouble. That's been the big key for the 54, as they're hoping that they won't get bumped or moved around and stay in the top 5. As Larry Yingling continues to have a good view of the action in front of him, which is Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter. But the big thing he is feeling concerned about, Cedric Hunter is losing touch to the 15 machine.
Yeah, just about a 10th quicker. A couple laps ago, Vincent Sora. This time, Cedric Hunter a little bit quicker. But the problem is he's running out of laps. Sam, 6 to go, coming to 5 to go. And that 13 machine, I feel like just gave up a little bit too much time there, trying to run this 15 back down. I think he's going to need a caution to have another shot at Vincent Sora.
It really looks like he's going to need it. And if another caution comes out, the only driver I'm looking in my mirror that could be a threat if we've got multiple cautions could be the one of the 81. Steven Stympian came into pit road, got the fresh tires. He has now moved up to 7th position for the 81. But if we stay green, he will run out of time from trying to catch up to our top two, which at this current moment, we're looking at the differences in times, and the advantage really, you can give it to Vincent Sora. That last lap, Cedric Hunter was trying to close in the gap. But I think Vinny might be just thinking of keeping his tires underneath him and not really trying to push it for maximum speed with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, just keep enough underneath you that if Cedric Hunter gets you, you can kind of push away from it, still have something to kind of defend yourself. Cedric being really aggressive here in 3 and 4, starting to close that gap in. Sam coming to 2 to go. This time by the 13, inching ever so closer here.
Inching a little bit closer. He's got to be at least that of a 10th away if he wants to use the bumper to get Vincent Sora rattled and moved. But it's going to be coming at turn number 4. Only 2 more opportunities. Cedric Hunter going to get loose, bounces off the wall as your Roasted Gems Coffee white flag comes out. That is the worst timing for Hunter. Hunter tried everything out of 4. It was for Noel, and it's going to be Vincent Sora just riding smoothly compared to last week and give the 15 his second win of the season here at the Throwback 200.
Yeah, Cedric tried everything he could. It was the moment right there out of 4 that cost him a chance at getting to the bumper of the 15. It was the looseness. Getting the power down, he gets into the outside wall, loses all that time he had, allows Vincent Sora to just smoothly get through 1 and 2. Back around to the checkered flag to collect his second win in as many weeks.
And for Vincent Sora, gets all the bumps of drivers saying good job as the 15 gets to burn it down here at North Wilkesboro on the hill. As he gets to have his fun, we'll step away. When we come back, we will talk to our top 2, Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter, get their thoughts, and the Spotlight driver on how their day here at the short track of Wilkes went. We'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for that of the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series. And 2 weeks in a row for the two-time champ, Vincent Sora, gets himself into victory lane. Let's get our thoughts from that of Vinny here tonight. Vincent Sora, winner again, 2 wins this season already. I mean, Vinny, do you ever get bored of winning? Because this one looked as easy as it could come at moments there late.
Oh no, you never get bored of it. You want to just keep on going out there and doing it, and it was pretty good to win here tonight. I love short tracks. They're probably what I would consider to be my strong suit here on iRacing. Anytime we have a short track on the schedule, I just get super excited. And I was actually kind of iffy on this one. I didn't know how I was going to do because the last time I raced with these guys here, I wasn't insanely quick. I definitely wasn't the quickest, but I guess I just had something figured out tonight. The bottom just wrapped really well. If you could get it down there and it saved the right front really good. I was actually shocked to see that more guys weren't down on the bottom. But yeah, I just had something figured out here tonight, and I got another one.
I mean, Vincent, were you ever worried at any point during the night? I mean, we saw Ryan Bird get up to you, get past you. Cedric Hunter kind of was, around you all night long, got to your bumper a couple times, gave you some shots, but was never able to really move you and get by you. But I mean, was there ever a thought going through your head that you might not have the speed to win here?
Yeah, when Ryan got around me and got to the clean air there, I figured that it might be done because I thought we were just going to keep wrecking and I wouldn't get a chance to get back around him. And clean air was really, really good tonight. Yeah, I thought Ryan might have had something for me there for a little bit. And I definitely thought Cedric had something for me. He was really good on that first long run and started to catch me a little bit until we evened out and we got that yellow there. And I figured if Cedric had the opportunity, he would definitely move me going down into 3 or down into 1 with a couple laps to go or down on the last lap. But he wasn't close enough. I think he made a couple mistakes of his own there towards the end and just couldn't quite get there.
Well, Vinny, we're now heading to, there's always those unique tracks that we like to put in the WSSR schedule. We're heading to one of them. We're going to the Twin Ring Motegi Road Course Circuit. Have you ever been to that track for one? And how are you feeling as we've seen you perform well at road courses going into that course?
Well, I feel good that it's a road course, but I don't even know what the track looks like. I haven't bought it, never seen it. So yeah, I have no clue how I'm going to do there. It's road course, so I feel good about it. I need to definitely buy the track first and run some laps, but hopefully I can use the road course knowledge that I have and carry it onto that track and do just as good.
We hope the same to you. But before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout out.
Yeah, first off, you guys for broadcasting. You do a great job. Can't wait to go back and rewatch this one because it was a pretty good race from my perspective. So hopefully it was on the broadcast too. Just all my sponsors, all the league sponsors, everybody that shows up on a weekly basis. My team at Category 5 Esports, and my painter Tom Sinchek.
Well, that is going to be Vincent Sora in the number 15 machine. With that win, he is now one race away from tying the most wins in the history of the WSSR Cup Series. We'll see if he can get it done. But congratulations on your win here tonight, Vinny, and good luck next week at that of Twin Ring.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
As we go from victory lane, hey, let's talk to second place, as that is Cedric Hunter coming up just shy here tonight. Cedric, it's Sam and Trevor up at the booth, coming away second place here tonight. It looked like you had a good shot there, but man, how was it from your perspective running here this evening?
It was good, man. I absolutely love this track. It's so much fun. Like just the different kinds of like racing and like how you can run the bottom and then the middle, the top. Tonight was mostly the bottom, but this track is so much fun, man. It has so much character with all the bumps and stuff like that, and I love it, man. I wish I would have been able to get to his bumper at the end of the race. Unfortunately, coming to the white, I got loose off a 4, and it kind of built him that gap. But I thought there for a second that, I mean, we were closing in on him slowly, and I didn't necessarily have to have enough speed to get around him. I just needed to have enough speed to just get to him.
I mean, Cedric, walk us through about you were running him down in that long run. Then you get caught up with an incident there with a lap car or a couple lap cars. You got to go to the back and work your way back up through the field. I mean, what was it like working your way back from the back of the field back up to the front tonight?
It was scary. I mean, we saw, I guess, plenty of guys, pit or caught up in an incident tonight, and then they get, put into the middle, I guess, of the field, and then from there, I mean, there's just kind of a snowballing effect where you just constantly get involved in something, and then luckily, when we went back green and we were in like 22nd, I think. There was like a massive checkup incident in front of us, and I just stayed low and managed to pass like 8 cars. And then from there, like I could see the leaders, and then I just had to put my head down and just run decent laps. And um, we got fortunate with, I guess, not getting caught up in anything else. And I mean, that's kind of the trick, man. If you're gonna win one of these short track races, you just got to keep it clean.
I know here tonight, Cedric, it was a little awkward for us. We're so used to you running the pink machine, but how was it for you being able to run a different scheme than what you're usually running week in and week out?
It's different, man. I don't think I've run a like non-pink scheme in like at least 2 years, so it kind of felt different. Obviously, like you could tell just sitting in the car like what color your car is. Like you see, in my case, it was the yellow tonight, and it kind of felt weird. Um, but I'm glad that we were able to put on a good showing with such an iconic scheme, it being the Steve Parks, I guess, throwback from the early 2000s era. So. Uh, it was it was really cool. I really like the scheme. Steven Simpian was the one that painted it for me just this week, so shout out to him. Thank you to him for doing that. I definitely plan on bringing it back throughout the season. It's not typically the colors that I run, but I honestly love the scheme a lot, so I plan on bringing it back.
Hey, when it's a good scheme, you always got to bring it back. Congratulations, Cedric, on second place here tonight. Before we let you go, the floor's now yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, man. Thank you to you guys for everything you guys do. I want to give a huge shout out to all the drivers that came out tonight, and also all the guys that did run a throwback paint scheme. It was really cool to see some of um, the older just schemes, and then also we had a few of them that were personalized for a couple of guys. Like I know Richard in the 56 had something to commemorate his dad, so that was pretty cool. Um, Huge shout out to Roasted Gems Coffee, man. Uh, they have awesome products. They have clothing. Well, they're selling their merch now, so that's pretty cool. Go check them out on roastedgems.com. Use code WSSR when you complete your purchase to get a little bit of a discount. And we came in one position short. We got so freaking close. I guess I'll just have to wait till next week and see. Hopefully we can put this 13 car in victory lane. And I'm happy though that for tonight we were able to extend our points lead.
Yeah, and touching on that Rosa Gems coffee, as they've got a new blend out there. It's their Max Calf Blend. Go get it today. Again, like you said, use WSSR at Rosa Gems Coffee. Cedric, congratulations on that, a second place. Hopefully we'll be talking to you some more throughout the season, and good luck next week at Twin Ring.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
As we go from that of second place, let's go to our spotlight driver, 49 machine, of Ryan Bird in sixth place. It was an up and down type of a night, hoped for a better finish, but Ryan Bird comes away with a top 10 run. Ryan, it's Sam and Trevor up in the booth. I mean, a spotlight driver allows us to really go through the field and pick out drivers that we want to talk to and hear their story of the night. And for our point of view, it seemed like it was trials and tribulations. How are you feeling after what looked like a rough night going through the field?
I mean, I feel good that we're 3 races in, and I've had good speed and been in contention all 3 times. It's just some of the luck hasn't gone my way, and I've made some really dumb decisions, and that's more or less the story tonight. Just bad decisions, and got myself back in traffic when I didn't need to be there, and ran over the 25 and 04. So sorry to them, but then got caught up in everyone else's messes otherwise.
I mean, Ryan, walk us through that decision to make the pit stop there. Did you think everybody else was going to come in, or I mean, what was kind of going through your head? Because I think y'all had been out there for about 40 or 50 laps or so on that set of tires.
I was really bad on long runs. I didn't feel very good about my long run speed, and I got around Vince on fresh tires after we pitted after like 40 laps, and I was hoping that if they didn't pit, we get another long green run, and I'd be able to get back up there. And I made good progress there until it turned into a caution fest, and it's hard to do anything about that after that.
It certainly is. But Ryan, like you said, you felt like you've been finding some good speed. We're going to some unique tracks here in the next couple of races. We're heading to Twin Ring for the Grand Prix circuit and for our next round of racing. Then Nashville's Super Speedway. Then to Lucas Oil Raceway at IRP. And then we go back to Twin Ring for the Oval Circuit. These next four races seem pretty tough, but what are you feeling mentally wise with the showing that you've seen with your speed?
I feel good. Twin Ring, both versions is going to be great. I think I got good speed at both of those tracks. Nashville is going to be terrible. IRP is going to be even more of a track position race than this was. It's going to be really hard to clear anyone on the bottom. So it's going to be a big track position race, big qualifying race.
Well, Ryan, again, congratulations on making it through the night and actually coming away with a sixth place finish with all the wrecks and carnage you are around. But before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, thank you to my girlfriend for always putting up with this. Thank you to my teammates Kyle and Tom, and sorry to Thomas and Kaufman who I dumped.
Well, that is going to be the 49 machine of Ryan Bird. Congratulations on a top 10 finish and good luck at the road course next week.
Thank you, thank you.
As we go from our spotlight driver, let's take a look at where the unofficial results are going to be for tonight's race, as some of the wrecks and carnage that popped up allowed some drivers to have some of their best finishes of the season so far. It's only the short part of the season for themselves, but it's Vincent Sora. In other leagues that we cover, we've talked about five races, 5 different winners. Well, it took us only 3 races before we got our first multi-time winner. And of course, it would be the 2-time going back-to-back here this season at Texas last week and here tonight at North Wilkesboro. It's Vincent Sora, the 15 machine. Cedric Hunter's going to come away with second. Larry Yingling going to be always a threat to watch out for. Again, still learning this car, coming away with third place finish. Watch out when playoff time comes around for that 67. Now to Jamie Lee Dunning, going to come away with fourth, his best career finish for the WSSR career so far for the 54 machine. Zach Hall's going to come away with fifth, Ryan Bird in sixth, with Steven Stimpy in seventh, Tom Sinchek eighth. Dakota Moniz comes away with the top 10 finish in ninth, and as well for Tyler Dangler, who we saw being 2 laps down at one moment, he comes away with the 10th place finish.
It's just going to show you're never out of it, especially when you get multiple cautions. Dangler getting back on the lead lap, getting himself a top 10. A little bit further down, Christopher Norris, Sam at one point was running second in that race and just loses a lot of track position there at the end, comes home in 12th. Thomas Walter after being caught up in some incidents in 14th, along with Brad Delph in 13th after some incidents. Jonathan Cogswell was having a good run for himself before he got caught up in a couple of wrecks. Brandon Colley, Aaron Krolick down there in 20th and 21st. 2 drivers that had a lot of speed early on in this race, and then just got caught up in a couple of wrecks themselves, find themselves down at the bottom. But back at the top, I mean, Jamie Dunning there in the 54 machine with a great finish for himself, coming away fourth. And on to next week, Sam, with a track that a lot of drivers probably aren't familiar with in its layout. It could be a really good race next week at Twin Ring GP.
Yeah, I mean, I know for us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we got a small little glimpse of what the oval track is like on Monday nights with the ISRC Truck Series. But we're not going to the oval course. We're going road course racing, which I'm excited to see how the driver's going to tackle that course. Looks to be a 30-lap run that they're going to do there for that race. So it could be a quick race, done and dusted. But who's going to be the road course ringer? Because we've seen at past races in the history of the WSSR, even if you're up in the top 3, it doesn't mean you're safe to win that race. Simple mistakes. Pit road could be a dangerous spot, or just losing out on talent could be another costly way. Can't wait for it to be shown. But Trevor, what are your thoughts heading to Twin Ring next week? Because again, like I'm saying, I don't know what to expect. We heard from Ryan. He feels confident. Cedric's unsure. Vinny's unsure. Who knows what we're going to find?
I think it's going to be the unknown element of it all. Who knows what we're going to see? Vincent Sora doesn't, like he said in his interview, doesn't even own the track yet, but we know he is a very capable road course driver. So, I expect to see the 15 up there. Cedric Hunter kind of, in that unknown, as well as Zach Hall. We saw the speed that he had at Coda last season before a pit road mistake took the 42 out of contention. So, I don't know what we're going to see next week because it's not a track that a lot of these guys are accustomed to. And that's the great thing about the WSSR and what they do. They throw in these random tracks that these guys don't have a lot of practice on it, and it could really get the really spice these races up.
It really can. We got a lot more tracks throughout the season that are going to change things up, and we cannot wait to see how they do so. But for tonight, thank you for joining us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name's Sam Dyer. With me was that of Trevor Earhart, as well as Robert Moyer Jr., who was running productions in the background. And for everyone else at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thanks for joining with us, as that will be the end of our week. We get ourselves settled in and ready for more coverage starting off Monday night for that ISRC Truck Series on Monday. Tuesdays, the Full Send Racing Series, as their Truck Series gets to have fun on a Tuesday evening. Wednesday off, Wicked's having their All-Star break. But for us up in the booth, we're going to step away on Wednesday night to have a little bit of a break for a moment. Thursday, it's going to be that of the Stars and Stripes ARCA throwback season. And then we're right back here next week. It is time for the Twin Ring Motegi Road Course Grand Prix. Who will survive at the road course? Can't wait for it. We hope to see you then. And if we don't, we'll see you at our next broadcast Monday night, the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. Can't wait for it. We'll see you on Monday.